What if everything you've been told about 9/11 was only the surface? What if the deadliest attack on American soil wasn't simply missed, but quietly enabled?
Today we've had a national tragedy. Two airplanes have crashed in an apparent terrorist attack on our country.
What if the truth was never hidden, just ignored? And if that's true, then what else have we overlooked? The official narrative insists Al-Qaeda struck from the shadows, but when you trace the movements of the hijackers, when you examine who watched them, who followed them, and who let them in, the story becomes almost unrecognizable. For more than 20 years, one question has lingered. Why were known extremists allowed to glide into the US as if someone had rolled out a red carpet? But what you're about to see makes that red carpet look even more deliberate. Before we dive deeper into the hidden truth behind 9/11, hit the subscribe button for more investigations into the stories the mainstream won't tell. To understand what happened on 9/11, you must begin years earlier. From 1996 to 2005, the CIA's secretive bin Laden unit, Alec Station, was supposed to be America's early warning system. Instead, its intelligence relied on intermediaries, trod points, young Al-Qaeda insiders funneling information through Pakistan's ISI, through T-boys and girls, a system built on shadows. In 1999, a crack appeared in the darkness. FBI agent John Antisef interrogated Daoud al-Awali, a survivor of the Nairobi embassy bombing. From him came a golden thread: the phone number of the Hatta House in Yemen, a communication hub tying senior Al-Qaeda operatives directly to Khalid al-Madhir. Soon the CIA and NSA were watching al-Madhir's every step. They even photographed his US visa, issued in Jeddah, proof that he was planning to enter America. But instead of stopping him, the story twists. Al-Madhir traveled to Kuala Lumpur, where he met Nawaf al-Hazmi. The CIA tracked both men, and still allowed them to board a plane to Los Angeles in 2000. Why? Because someone inside the agency allegedly hoped to flip them in a risky false flag operation, one that never materialized. Once in California, a Saudi intelligence operative, Omar al-Bayoumi, conveniently appeared. He helped them find housing, obtain IDs, acquire phones, everything they needed.
أن أبناءنا شياطين ولكن هؤلاء شياطين البيت الأبيض.
Funding flowed from official Saudi channels, traced directly to the wife of the Saudi ambassador to the United States. The CIA knew. They looked the other way. And later, the 9/11 Commission insisted there was no evidence of Saudi involvement. Al-Bayoumi also ushered the hijackers into the orbit of radical cleric Anwar al-Awlaki, who a decade later would be the first American citizen killed by a US drone strike. Then came the notebook, found by British authorities, a simple sketch of an airplane and mysterious calculations. Meanwhile, the FBI, drowning in warnings, continued to trip over its own red tape. Zacharias Moussaoui was arrested, but agents were blocked from searching his laptop. A July 2001 memo warned of a coordinated effort to send men to US flight schools, but no one with authority saw it in time. Through it all, the intelligence community stayed oddly passive, almost too passive, as if the conditions for disaster weren't just allowed, but cultivated. And what followed that cultivation would reshape the world forever. January 2000. Bush's campaign is locked in a brutal contest with John McCain. Politics consumes the headlines, but in the background, a storm is gathering. By December, Atta and al-Shahi have already finished flight training in Florida. days later, Bush becomes president.
Good morning. Finally, a president-elect. George W. Bush will become the 43rd president of the United States.
And then, September 11th.
Perhaps purposefully into, oh my goodness,
oh God,
there's another one.
Within hours of the attacks, the administration shifts its gaze outward. The target is no longer just Al-Qaeda, but entire nations.
America was targeted for attack because we're the brightest beacon for freedom and opportunity in the world.
Afghanistan is invaded that same year. Iraq follows in 2003, regardless of the evidence. Then, something extraordinary emerges. On June 19, 2002, previously ignored NSA intercepts slip into the light. Messages sent the day before the attacks. The match begins tomorrow. Tomorrow is 0 hour. Clear warnings, silenced by bureaucracy. Rather than expose the truth, officials like Rumsfeld and Wolfowitz see strategic potential. Inquiries are muzzled. The 9/11 Commission is starved of resources. 18 months and a mere $3 million to investigate the worst attack in U.S. history. Bush influences the Commission's leadership. Kissinger resigns. Tom Keene is installed under pressure. Then, the quiet coup de grace. On January 27, 2003, Philip Zelikow, executive director of the Commission, writes the outline of the final report before the investigation truly begins. Phone logs later reveal his close ties to Condoleezza Rice and Karl Rove. The narrative is not discovered, it is crafted. And with it, the road to Iraq is paved.
Coalition forces have begun striking selected targets of military importance to undermine Saddam Hussein's ability to wage war.
But the most chilling part is why that road was wanted in the first place. August 6, 2001, the president's daily brief lands on Bush's desk. Bin Laden determined to strike in U.S. It warns that Al-Qaeda operatives are already inside America. It warns of suspicious patterns matching preparation for hijackings. It warns explicitly of the exact kind of attack that would occur just 36 days later. The red alerts didn't stop there. May 2001, the FAA warns airlines of a possible terror-related hijacking. 1999 to 2001, NORAD runs simulations of planes crashing into buildings. September 11th itself, the National Reconnaissance Office is running an exercise simulating a plane crash. And when CIA Director George Tenet hears the news of the first impact, he mutters, "I wonder if it has anything to do with this guy taking pilot training." The reality is chilling. The US wasn't blind, it was blinking. Slowly, deliberately. Multiple hijackers had been enabled to enter the country. Warnings were set aside. Threats were dismissed. And when the attacks came, America was catastrophically unprepared. Not because of a lack of intelligence, but because of choices made at the highest levels. But the roots of those choices go even deeper. Back to a man who once fought on America's side. Osama bin Laden was born into privilege. 1957, Riyadh, the son of a billionaire construction mogul. He was once a celebrated figure, a hero among the Mujahideen fighting the Soviets, but exile hardened him. Banished to Sudan for challenging Saudi ties to the US, he returned to Afghanistan in 1996 with a manifesto, a declaration of war. His message? Get out of our land. US politicians twisted his motive, claiming America was attacked because it represented freedom itself.
And there's an old poster out west, as I recall, that said, "Wanted, dead or alive."
But by 1996, the threat was obvious. Ramzi Youssef had already bombed the World Trade Center. Islamic Jihad had killed hundreds. The CIA responded by creating Alec Station, An ambitious effort that collapsed under flawed intelligence, turf wars, and political hesitation. The CIA even planned a daring raid on bin Laden's camp at Tarnak Farms. 4 rehearsals, multiple confirmations, ready to go. Cancelled at the last moment by the Clinton administration. Later, cruise missiles were launched at targets alleged to be linked to bin Laden. Wrong place, wrong time, wrong targets. The opportunity slipped away. But the consequences of that lost opportunity would be far more than anyone imagined. The CIA, the Bush administration, the 9/11 Commission. Together, intentionally or not, they created the perfect conditions for doubt, distrust, and conspiracy. Families are left with holes in their stories. Key decisions remain buried, and the world that rose from the ashes of 9/11 was shaped by people who understood how to turn tragedy into leverage. The truth about 9/11 isn't just a record of events. It's a saga of decisions, quiet, hidden, decisive, that changed the fate of nations. How much do you really know about that day? Because in the following episode, we peel back the next layer, revealing the deeper, darker chapters of the 9/11 story, and the parts no one wants to talk about. Join us in bringing darkness to light.